Creationism, and
Creationism.
I'm telling you guys, it was not an easy one, and it's not an easy one. It it required long time to prepare, and I hope you are going to enjoy it. In the sense that after I'll finish the presentation tonight, it will be loads of work to be done by you after that with your club, or I don't know, in your church. Um, this honor is more um, self-researching honor than us presenting it to you. Many of the things you'll have to find them yourself. I did my best to bring as much as possible together to make it as easy as possible for you. So let's get started.
You've done a great job, Bogdan, and we appreciate. We saw your part of your work in the slides you've prepared and the video, and so we're looking forward to it. So, guys, buckle up as we explore creationism.
And just to remind you, if you do feel that you just missed anything or there's something that you just want to go over once again, just to get straight in your heads, and don't worry, it will all be posted up on the website. So you will have your chance to go through the slides. You'll have to be able to watch the video again and hear Bogdan's explanation. So not to worry if you miss anything.
Excellent. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, Bogdan.
NJ, I'm going to I need to ask you a favor. It it happens sometime when I share my screen. I can't see the screen of the other participants, so I'm kind of blind. But in the sense that I can't see the other screens. I hope you see mine, and I can start because it doesn't really bother me. It's just to make sure that everything will go smoothly.
Yeah, so we'll be your eyes. We'll keep you informed of what's happening. And I like
Okay.
those clouds, you know.
Yeah, so I prepared the creationism basic honor for tonight. And before I'm going to start and to go in the points, I just want to share with you a few Bible verses because they are important, and they are connected with our theme. And the verses I choose for tonight are coming from Romans chapter 1, starting from verse 18. And they say, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened." Um, this is a very, very interesting topic. I think we need more than an hour to present it, but I'm going to go through as quick as I can and to the best of um, of of the presentation. So the requirements for this honor are: define the scientific model and theory of the creationism honor theory, list three differences between creationist and evolutionist models, read and comment 1 Timothy 6:20 and 21, quote 5 passages from Patriarchs and Prophets about Earth's young age, investigate the creation. Uh, we need to analyze Genesis chapter 6 to 9. We need to attend the creationist meeting. We need to investigate and demonstrate how to argue in favor of creationism. then we have to prepare a project um, which should be called Why Be a Creationist? We need to organize a debate. Now, those debates are not really, they don't really happen in Europe, but as far as I know, in America, they are organized and they are done in universities. Actually, one of the videos I have today, it was a debate organized in one of the universities in America. Report of the diversity and wonder in God's creation. So those are our 11 requirements, and I'm going to break them down one by one, and we are going to go through each one of them. So I hope you had the chance to download the worksheet from the website. If not, the presentation is going to be live. You are going to be able to see it most probably after Monday, depending on when Dan has the chance to prepare them. So the definition of the creationism theory or the scientific model. In science, the term model refers to the schematic description of a system or a phenomena that accounts for its observed and inferred features as well as its origin and history. It's a scenario that offers reasonable explanations for the entire scope, origin to ending, of a particular system as well as for its relationship to other natural phenomena. Basically, what it's trying to say is for creationism, we are interested on how God created the world, and then how can we observe his creation. This is what we are interested in. Using a model approach supplies researchers with enough detail to assist in further study. It offers explanations for how, when, where, and why the phenomena or system occurs. So basically, we need to answer those questions. How did God created the world? When did he did? When did he did it? How long it took for him to create the world as it is? Um, it anticipates or predicts discoveries that could either verify or falsify the model's explanations. Um, so basically, we are looking on how can we prove that God created the earth in 6 days. And the other thing is, how can we prove the young age of the Earth? The best models also yield specific suggestions for how near future research may help improve understanding of the system or phenomena they attempt to explain. All right, so basically this is the introduction about the theory and what that means. List three differences between creation and evolution. Now, guys, I know this is a topic which is taught in schools. So the question is, what do you think? In your opinion, what would be three differences between creation and evolution? You can write down whatever ideas you have in the Zoom chat or on Facebook. And before I'm going to reveal I'm going to reveal three of the differences I I was thinking about, but it's a diversity of them. So any answer should be correct. Please, if you have any ideas, use the chat to give us to give us your thoughts. Okay, so I can see on the Zoom chat, creation was by
Yeah,
God.
let's give some answers here. Well, you seem to be reading them there, Bogdan. So
So do you want me to read them from Zoom and or I don't know, you do the stuff you're doing it before, so I don't interfere with.
But if we look at Facebook, we've got somebody who's come, Crystal, who says it's truth versus lie.
Okay. Someone says evolution based on science and creation is by God. Ryan says creation is by God. Jeremiah says evolution is based on science. Bell says creator for creation, evolution by chance. Creations can be evolved and evolved from Darwin's theory of evolution. Evolution is based on theories. All right, thank you. So let's see.
oh, one more. We've got Tiago on Facebook saying creation as a creator, evolution does not have anyone. There's chaos.
It's chaos. Okay, thank you. So uh, actually, I'm showing it, I'm showing to you on the screen. It was already said. God created life and universe. This is what creation says. Evolution says life and universe came from nowhere, or the chaos is the same. We think that all creation was done in 6 literal days. That's why we rest in the 7th day, the Sabbath. Life appeared in billions of years. This is evolution. Now, the other difference is Earth with life is 6,000 years old, a bit more than 6,000 years, according to the Bible, while Earth with life is very old, billions or hundreds of years. So those are the three differences I spotted. Like you can write down more than the three I shared with you. Okay. Oh, and this one in the college I really loved philosophy, and the main question in philosophy was who was first, the chicken or the egg. Well, we think and we believe that God created the adult animals and humans, Adam and Eve, while the evolutionists, they don't know yet what was first, the chicken or the egg. Well, they will say first was the cell. God created humankind as the crown of the creation and is degrading a species from generation to generation. Evolutionist says humankind came from monkeys and is evolving to a better species from generation to generation. So basically, it's the opposite. What is the opposite in what the Bible says? Now, we are on the requirement number 3. Read and respond to the following. And we have a Bible verse from 1 Timothy chapter 6, 20 and 21. And the question is, what relation can exist between this passage and the evolutionism? This passage is kind of connected with the first passage I I shared with you in the beginning, the one from Romans. So the Bible says, "O Timothy, guard what was committed to your trust, avoiding the profane and idle babbling and contradictions of what is falsely called knowledge. By professing it, some have strayed concerning the faith." So, what do you think? What relationship is between this verse, those two verses, and evolutionism? You can type in your answers.
Okay, guys, what are your thoughts? Respond to those two verses that have been given for us there. So let's hear your thoughts. So, guys who are joining us on Facebook too, we'd love to hear from you. And so let's get typing. Romeo is started here. I don't really understand this. Okay, so which bit you don't understand? The question, creation is based. Just clarify yourself a little, Romeo. Okay, so that we can be on the same page. And then we've got creation based on trust in God. Okay, evolution is on babbling of so-called profound knowledge. Okay, so that's from Bell, or is it Belle? Belle? Sorry if I'm not
Well,
pronouncing your name properly. But yes, thank you for those replies.
okay, some of the words like profane and more. Profane means if, okay, NJ, help me with this.
Which one? Which one were you?
Avoiding the profane. So what profane means?
Okay, we've got a good friend called Google, not relating to that which is sacred or religious and secular. Okay, so if we are saying something is being profaned, in this case, it is being removed from the religious world, if I can say. And the answer or the response is now going towards the secular world. Okay, so profanities are things that are against our religious beliefs, or they go against the things that we think are sacred.
And another version of the Bible says godless.
Okay, yeah, godless. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So the only relation between the two is that people professing it the only relation between the two is that people professing it have strayed concerning the faith. So it's no, there is no middle way. You are either a creationist or you are either an evolutionist. So it's no middle way. There are people who are trying to stay on the gray zone, but you either believe God or you don't believe him. What the Bible verse was trying to say is that in all the things, you have to believe God. If God said, "I created the world in 6 days," then we need to believe him, and that's called faith. On the other hand, to believe evolution and the billions and billions of years which and nobody's seen them, I think you need a little bit more faith than to believe that God created everything. Okay. So Yeah, the second question is, the majority of us, we already know Genesis chapter 1 and 2. It's about the creation. Um, so the requirement, this, the second requirement of the point 3 says, can someone disagree with these texts and remain a member of the remnant? Justify the response. So the question is, if someone doesn't believe that the chapter 1 and 2 from Genesis, the creation of the world, is not true, can they still be part of, let's say,
The Seventh-day Adventist Church?
of the Seventh-day Adventist Church? Or I will go even a little bit more behind that. Can they still be, I don't know, can they still be named children of God? All of us are children of God, but it's a difference between the two. There are good kids, good children of God, and bad children of God. So the question is, will can they still be Seventh-day Adventists or not?
Wow, guys. So, do you think if someone doesn't believe in creation, which is what Genesis 1 and 2 is all about, they don't believe there was the first day and the second day and all the things that were made on those days leading up to the Sabbath, can that person remain a Seventh-day Adventist or Christian, has been said by Bogdan? And you need to tell us why you think they can or why they cannot. So we'd love to hear from you. And so Jeremiah says no, they can't. But why? Give us. You need to justify your response. So you guys are Pathfinders, so it would be good to hear from you, Pathfinders, what your thoughts are on creation and what it means out there to different people. Okay, Romeo is said no because the Big Bang is a bad theory, but many Christian scientists believe in both, that there was a Big Bang. And Jeremiah has come back to say because they don't believe God's creation, so it can be a little difficult. Now, I think there's also something that marks creation, and that's what we were celebrating today. And what is that? Because that means that's out of the equation if you can't believe in Genesis 1 and 2. And what is that marks today? What have we been celebrating throughout the day today, guys? Yes,
But
yes, the Sabbath, the Sabbath. Okay, so that's where we first meet it, God's day of rest. Thank you, thank you.
thank you, guys. So if you disagree with what God inspired Moses to write about the report of creation, it means you don't believe God and you can't remain a member of the remnant. Um, yeah, so it's no gray zone, it's black and white. By disagreeing, you have no other option than believing the evolution theory, for which, from my perspective, you need a lot more faith. Yes, you need a lot more faith because we are going to see why in the next few slides. I have a little note here for you. Read and analyze the biblical report from Genesis and answer to the above question with your own thoughts. So those guys, whatever it's in the slide, it is to give you an idea. You can disagree and you can agree and you can disagree with what I said. So the best is to have your own thoughts, to have your own words on this matter. Okay. Number 4, checking the time. Quote 5 passages from Patriarchs and Prophets about Earth young age. So basically what you need to do, many of you guys, you'll have the book at home, your parents will have it. If you don't have the book, On the slides, you are going to find some resources where to get the book. I just gave an example here, which is coming from the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 111, and it's the paragraph 3, which says, but the assumption that the events of the first week required thousands upon thousands of years strikes directly at the foundation of the fourth commandment. It represents the Creator as commanding men to observe the week of literal days in commemoration of vast, indefinite periods. This is unlike his method of dealing with his creatures. It makes indefinite and obscure that which he has made very plain. It is infidelity in its most insidious and hence most dangerous form. Its real character is so disguised that it is held and thought by many who profess to believe the Bible. So basically what Ellen White is trying to say is, if we don't believe God's creation, it's no point then to keep the Sabbath. We already highlighted that in the previous slide. Why? Because even if the earth was, I don't know, created in thousands and thousands and millions of years, then why should God say, well, guys, you have to keep the Sabbath in commemoration of my creation? You should rest, you should stay, you should enjoy the time with me. Why would he do that? It makes no sense. So I gave you one of the passages. So as, let's say, as homework, you'll have to look for the other four. Patriarchs and Prophets, it's a really, really good book. I recommend you to read it for your own sake. It will help you grow.
You're very kind. Thank you for giving us one of those. So that's homework already half done, guys.
So,
or a fifth done then.
yeah, here is where you can find the book. So you have the Ellen G. White writings. The second application, there are two applications. You can use whatever. This is the last one in the Play Store or the Apple Store. Or you can follow the link and it will bring you to the website where you can find the book. You have loads of materials here, loads of materials. Now, investigate the creation as the fundamental belief of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Demonstrate the base of this fundamental belief through the Bible, finding from memory at least 5 passages that talk about this idea. Now, again, this will be the stuff for you to do in your own time. You already have some references in Genesis. We saw them. I give you the second Genesis. This is how it is called. I don't know if you ever had the chance to read the book of Job to the end, because if you don't have patience, you'll get lost on the middle of it. But on the chapter 38 and 39 in the book of Job, you have God who speaks about his glorious creation. There are 2 good chapters. I recommend you to read them. You will find very interesting things in those 2 chapters. So this is an easy requirement. Read the church manual, see what it says about the creation, go to the Bible, make your own idea, and write down 5 verses, 5 Bible references about the creation. Okay, more investigation to be done. Read chapters 6 through 9 of Genesis. Afterwards, do one of the following activities. Investigate and elaborate a detailed schedule about a theory accepted by scientific creationists about how the events occurred. Right. So I am giving you the second one. So you have to choose between A and B. The B requirement says make a list with at least 3 biblical mentions of the flood and give at least 3 historical and scientific evidence of a global flood. So we have the biblical references. I already took them out from for you. In the New and the Old Testament, we can see people of God speaking about and mentioning the big flood. Now, why? We understand the biblical one. So then the question is, why historical and scientific? You see, not many people agree with us in the sense that they will believe that God created the earth in 6 days. And for them, the biblical evidence is not valid. They won't believe it.
Yeah, I'll take those ones. You can
All
focus
right.
on the presentation.
So, from history, we have this piece of stone, and it's called Epic of Gilgamesh. And basically, there are some poems which the scientists are saying they were composed about 1800s before Christ. And actually, it speaks about the flood. And then the scientific one is a complete fossil whale skeleton in the Chilean desert. How a whale got to the middle of the desert. So I see that there are some messages as well, if you want to read them, NJ.
Yeah, Romeo is just referring to a dolphin skull that was found millions of miles away from any water in the center of Egypt. That's what he says happened. So I think it's all going on the same vein, like you're saying.
Yeah, so I gave you already one reference each. Now, here is where you can get more examples for historical and for the scientific references. I just give you a hint. If you check for the errors in the carbon 14 measuring tool, so the way they will say the age of a skeleton or the age of a fossil, this will give you scientific evidence that the dating of the fossils and age of the earth is not real. Well, it is real up to a certain extent. For example, a teacher, an university teacher in America, they found dinosaurs' bones, and he sent them for other places to be dated, but he didn't said what type of bones are they. They didn't say that the bones are from a dinosaur. So when after they dated the age of the bones, when the results came back, they said the bones are not older than 50,000 years, while the evolutionists are claiming that the dinosaurs lived hundreds of millions ago. So you see, it's a big difference on aging. That's why the measure used with the carbon 14, uh, it's not reliable. Okay, now So, guys, you have to find another two evidences for the historical and the scientific parts. Now, on the requirement number 7, it says that we have to attend a meeting on creationism. And it says, prior to your attendance, write some of the anticipated doubts that people may have about a scientific presentation from a creationist viewpoint. If possible, present them to a speaker or participant so they can clarify responses from a biblical and or scientific basis. Now, I know this requirement is going to be hard to be done. That's why I prepared something for you. Now, if it would be for you to go and attend a meeting on creationism in the next 5 minutes, what doubts would you have? Can you share them with us? So, or what doubts you think an atheist will have about our creationist viewpoint? Um,
Okay, so this is a very important part, guys, because it really gets us thinking in the relevant directions for this presentation, in the way that helps us to understand it a little better and to be honest about some of the challenges. So, what doubts would you have before attending um, a meeting on creationism? So, right, some of those doubts that people may have about a scientific presentation from a creationist viewpoint. Okay, so if possible, you can share those with us. So just type them down. What doubts you would have. Okay, guys on Facebook, hope you are there and listening, and you can share those. We are so glad somebody is joining us from as far as Sri Lanka. So welcome, and
welcome.
welcome to the debate. So we'd love to hear your views as well. Well, I guess if I were going to um, attend a meeting on creationism, okay? So if I were to attend a scientific presentation, rather, from a creationist viewpoint, maybe that's the bit that I would need to be clarified for me. When we say before, write some of the anticipated doubts that people may have about a scientific presentation. So is the scientific presentation from a creationist perspective? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the scientists who believe in creation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what doubts would we have if they were people who were scientists but they believed in creation? Yeah? Yeah, so guys, let's respond to this question where we can. where we can respond. I guess the main thing is what the relationship between science and creation is available for us, and how reliable is it? As you've already said about carbon dating and things like that, how reliable is that kind of information? And then somebody who's coming from a creationist perspective already has made the conclusion that there is a 7-day creation. So that means they may have blocked out a lot of things that we can learn about ourselves. So they've already blocked it out. So the challenge is no longer there to say, okay, can we hear and listen to someone else who's got a different view? Because they have already set in their mind a certain path. So for me, those are some of the things I would be thinking of.
All right. So guys, I am going to introduce you to Dr. Kent Hovind. He is a creationist, and he was organizing in America those debates between the creationists and atheists in university campuses. And I think it's a cool thing to see because it will help you to not to understand better, but it will help you to see what other people are blind now. They can't see it unless God is going to reveal it to them. So I'm just going to leave it for 3-4 minutes, and then we are going to
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
All right. Well, it's an honor to be here tonight. My name is Kent Hovind. I live in Pensacola, Florida. I taught high school science for 15 years, and now I travel and do seminars on creation, evolution, and dinosaurs, and my ministry is not government funded. This is not my wife, just a picture of her. We have 3 kids, 1 of each. I have all the kids married off, and the dog died, so I made it. I'm home free. It's wonderful. And my lovely daughter and her husband are over here. So raise your hand there, Paul and Marlissa. Good to have them here tonight. And I got 2 grandkids, 1 more due in a few days and another one due in about 7 months. So I'll have 4 grandkids, all under 3 when it's over with. I'm the founder of Dinosaur Adventureland in Pensacola, Florida. If you ever get up to Pensacola, you need to stop and see that place. We have a science center, a museum, and a theme park, all based on creation, and give glory to God for his creation instead of teaching evolution. We offer a lot of homeschool classes. We have a lot of video materials available. We have a creation boot camp coming up this September, and you're all invited to come up to that. We believe that the creation ought to glorify the God of the Creator, and he ought to get credit for what he did. So our position is the Bible is true, evolution theory is seriously wrong, and one of the dumbest and most dangerous religions in the history of the world. That's our totally unbiased opinion on the subject. Thank you so much.
Professors?
I'll start. My name is Jim Strayer. I'm from Michigan. I started my educational career in a small Methodist school. I went there for 2 years and then transferred to Eastern Michigan University to get a major in biology and a minor in chemistry. I taught school for a few years and went into the Army and served as a corpsman in the U.S. Army Hospital. Came home and after a few more years of teaching, I was awarded a National Science Foundation scholarship to get a master's degree in biology. I got that from the University of Michigan. Okay.
Reinhold
I have.
Are you finished? Sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
I have around 100 hours of semester hours of science, and most of that's in biology. And I retired a few years ago, and since then I've been keeping active by giving lectures on Charles Darwin and evolution and related biological subjects. I'm very happy to be here, and I feel very comfortable in front of a college crowd, and we should have a good time.
I'm Reinhold Schlieper. I teach here, and that means I live around this area too. And there's no way I'm going to be able to top that introduction that we just heard. So I'll just be staying on the side of modesty and stop right here.
My name is Luther Reisberg. I'm a professor of aerospace engineering. I graduated from Michigan State University, where I got my PhD in engineering there. I'm probably the least qualified person to be here talking about any of these matters, but I'll apologize, and we'll do what we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Hovind, you'll now have 12 minutes to make an opening case.
All right, well, let's define a few positions. I believe very strongly that the earth is about 6,000 years old. It was created in 6 literal 24-hour days. This position would make a few predictions. The Bible says clearly, in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and all that in them is. Everything created in 6 days. Now, based on that prediction, based on that premise, we can make a few predictions, which is what science is supposed to do. A scientific theory is supposed to allow you to make predictions. I predict, based on the Bible teaching, that the universe will show evidence of order and design all over the place, okay? I predict that we'll find thousands of symbiotic relationships in nature, animals that require certain plants and plants that require certain animals, and it works just fine because they were all created within a few days of each other. Not a problem at all for the creationist viewpoint. I predict that there will be limits to the variations that life forms are able to produce. The Bible says they will bring forth after their kind, and that's what we've observed. 6,000 years of human history shows us dogs produce dogs. Every time. Might be a big dog or a little dog. It might have curly hair or straight hair, but it's going to be a dog, guaranteed, okay? Farmers actually count on that. I mean, when they plant corn, they expect to get corn. And so far, it has happened. So certainly there are variations, but there are definite limits to the variations, and this is where the major difference comes between the creationist and the evolutionist. I predict that there are not only limits to the variation, I predict that there will be actually a purpose to life because we were designed by a creator for a purpose. That's a prediction based on the Bible view. I predict there will be non-material things like love, sense of justice, mercy, innate knowledge of right and wrong, a conscience, and absolute truth. Those things are not possible with the evolution theory. They are predicted based on the creation theory. Somebody designed this for a reason. I predict that there will be a way to find the will of the creator, such as messengers speaking for him, or maybe even a book telling us why he did it and how he did it. I predict there will be an afterlife where we will face the Creator to give an accounting, okay? The Bible dates, if you add them up in Scripture, comes to about 6,000 years ago for the creation, not millions. There's a large difference between 6,000 and 20 billion. Congress doesn't seem to understand that, but there is a big difference, okay? Now, based on the Bible teaching that the earth was originally created where people lived to be 900 years old, I predict we will find lots of legends about a golden age and a creation event. This seems to be kind of universal throughout history. Most people believe there was a creation, and most people believe there was a time when man used to live to be nearly 1,000. The Greeks talked about it, the Babylonians talked about it, the Sumerians. Everybody talked about this golden age. Why? Well, that's predicted based on the creation viewpoint, okay? I predict there will be skeletons found of people showing signs of great age because they were living to be much older, you know, before things happen. And as you grow, especially the brow ridge of your head never stops growing. The constant pull on the back of your head, the occipital bun, based on just the muscles from holding your head forward, is going to elongate the head over 200 or 300 or 400 years. People would look exactly like the Neanderthals look. Brain 13% bigger than ours, few strange things about their head, but 100% human in every respect. I predict that there will be biological problems with modern man, such as wisdom teeth, because we're not as big as we used to be, and we're developing probably faster. People are maturing faster. They're only living to be 80 or 90 instead of living to be 900. And wisdom teeth are a problem today, not because of evolution, but because we're actually genetically inferior to the original model, Adam and Eve, okay? I predict that there'll be a universal longing for things to be restored to the Garden of Eden conditions. That's what everybody seems to want, okay? Now, what difference does it make if you believe in evolution or creation? Well, if evolution is true, how do we tell right from wrong? Anytime tonight, I would like any one of these gentlemen to answer the simple question, if evolution is true, how does anybody tell right from wrong? If I wanted you to make a list of 10 things that are wrong, before you put anything on the list, I want to know, how are you deciding? Are you deciding right from wrong based on what Osama bin Laden thinks? Do we decide right from wrong based on what Congress thinks? Do we decide right from wrong based on the majority? How do we decide right from wrong? Simple question, I've never had it answered. If evolution is true, death brought man into the world, and death is actually the hero of the plot. Because if evolution is true, one animal evolves a little better than the rest for some reason, maybe a mutation or something. What must happen to the rest of them? They have to die. Otherwise, the good genes are diluted back into the population and lost. Evolution is a religion of death. Death is actually the hero of the plot. If the Bible is true, then man brought death into the world. If evolution is true, death brought man into the world. These two views cannot possibly be more opposite. Somebody is wrong. And I enjoy showing them who they are, and that's why I'm here. Okay, now.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here because it's a 2 hours long debate, which you can obviously see after the presentation after this presentation is done. There are loads of interesting things to see, loads of evidences presented. I do recommend you to watch it. Now, on the last slide of my presentation, you are going to find the links for this one and for other materials as well. Okay.
So can we say in a nutshell from there, science and the Bible actually are good friends if we study it properly. Science and the Bible can really be good friends.
And one of the things to remember is that let's say, the biggest scientists of this world were Christians, like Isaac Newton. Nobody speaks about the books he wrote about religion. Nobody says anything about him trying to understand the Daniel's prophecy. But that's a different story. So thank you, Pastor NJ.
The Bible says.
Okay. So after you're watching the meeting or you are participating in a meeting, as you debrief the meeting, share at least 15 objections that can be made by the evolutionists from a creationist viewpoint. Share some of the biblical and scientific ways that you can refute objections. So basically, the idea is watch the video and take the atheist objections and compare them with the creationist perspective. I'm just going to give you an example. So, for example, one of the possible evolutionist objection is Earth age is not 6,000 years old. A possible answer is the method used to date certain things is not accurate. Some method dated, I already shared with you the story. Some method dated dinosaurs to be 50,000 years old. Actually, what happened with the teacher who published that the bones were dinosaur bones and they were dated 50,000 years old from two trusted sources. He had pretty much the same answer. He was fired from the school, and it was prohibited to him to teach again. Why? Because he using their tools, he showed that evolution is not, it doesn't really exist, and the measurements they use and all the years they come with, they are not true. After sea life evolved hundreds of millions of years ago, somehow they came to land and evolved in different species. So basically, first it was a fish, somehow the fish got legs, and they managed to come on the land, and evolved in different species, and then the bird evolved somehow from dinosaurs. So it's, from my perspective, it's a total mess. The easiest answer would be God created the birds and all the sea life in the same day, on the fifth day. It has to be logic. Okay, so the rest is to be completed by the Pathfinders, and please use the links from the last slide. You are going to have there loads of resources. It will take some time, but it will be easy to be done. NJ, I can see some message on the Zoom.
Okay. Can't evolution be true? That God evolved his creations because he loves them so much. So science and the Bible do mix. That is false since God created dinosaurs. Oh, okay.
Of course, yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, now requirement number 8. How are we standing with the time?
Yeah, time is kind of gone. So we do need to round up, and I mean most of these things will be on the site. So yeah, if you let's see how you go in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, so
Round up.
investigate and demonstrate how to argue in favor of creationism using 3 of the following. So it gives us a different points, different perspectives. So from the biological perspective, from the geological perspective, from oceanography point of view, from the astronomical point of view, and from the archaeological point of view. So basically what it's saying, all of those um, viewpoints are indicating that evolution is not true. I did 2 of them for you, so you are left to do only 1, and I will recommend you to do E, because this is an easy one. So from the archaeological point of view, what are the transitional fossils? This is something what evolution is missing. This change from fish to animals, that part is missing. And they are called transitional fossils. If you type that into Google, you are going to find loads of resources. So what I investigated for you 2 points, and they are A. So from the biological point of view, what are systems of irreducible complexity? I know that this is science and there are some fancy words used here. So irreducible complexity is a term used to describe a characteristic of certain complex system, whereby they need all of their individual component parts in place in order to function. So basically what it's trying to say is that if you have a car, in order to fully work, it needs the engine. A car cannot run without her engine. This is what the theory says, basically. So in other words, it is impossible to reduce the complexity or to simplify system by removing any of its component parts and still maintain its functionality. Basically, what we are saying is it's no way for I don't know, for a giraffe to still be alive by not having all the parts of her body. This is a simple example. Or a human in our case, like how would we live without the heart? So the question is then, when the heart came in, when the heart evolved from whatever being we were, you know, so those are the types of questions we are asking. And I chose point C. From the oceanography point of view, how can we know through ocean sedimentation that the oceans are young? So it's very simple. It's not enough mud in the seafloor. If our Earth will have billions and billions and billions of years, and if the oceans are old, then when you look into the layers of the Earth, under the ocean, there it should be big sedimentation, but it's not. So that tells us the ocean is young. It's not old. Okay. Each year, water and winds erode about 20 billion tons of dirt and rock from the continents and deposit it in the ocean. This material accumulates as loose sediment on the hard basaltic lava-formed rock of the ocean floor. Here is where you have a full, oh, go back. Here is where you have a full article about this. Read it. It's for you to understand what's happened.
And that's actually a good website, ICR.
Yeah, so it's a good resource. So then what you have to do next is, from an archaeological point of view, find an argument to argue evolution. It's simple. Just type that in Google and you'll find it. Okay, so requirement number 9, you have to do a project. Why to be a creationist? Based on what you have learned in this honor and from other sources, present a project title, Be a Creationist, through one of the following: electronic presentation, written paper, video, or a storyboard or a poster. We used to do that a lot in the Sabbath school. So basically, after you do your research, make a project and present it to your friends, I don't know, to your club, and explain them why you should be, or why are you a creationist? Why do you believe God, and why do you believe God created everything in 6 days? Now, this one, it's a nice one. You are required to organize a debate with the instructor as the mediator. Have a debate about how it is possible to have science and faith in harmony. This can be easily done in a group meeting, or even in a Sabbath school class between your classmates in Sabbath school. Speak with your instructor, tell him about this requirement. It's an easy one, and it would be interesting because he's going to challenge your instructor to do some research for himself as well, because he will need to know what he's doing. Now, report of the diversity and wonder in God's creation. This is a nice one. So basically, you are required to go in nature and to observe God's creation and come back with wonders, things which makes you see the beauty of God's creation. Now, I have an alternative for you. It's a series on YouTube. You can find it. It's called Watch Wonders of Creation. Now, I give you this alternative only because of the pandemic. Otherwise, I will ask you to go in nature and have a close look, as we've read in the first Bible passage I shared with you. Look on the nature, look carefully. It's no way not to see the beauty of God in his creation. It's no way. It's too sophisticated and it's too beautiful to come to life from nowhere. It can't. So I have this material for you. Come on. I have this material for you. It's a really nice, they are really nice presentations. They are taking animals which are unbelievable from the way they were made. I gave you an example, the giraffe. I watched this video. I never knew so that a giraffe is so complex and so beautiful on her kind. So I really recommend them to you.
Okay.
Just 2 slides and I'm done. So the report of diversity and wonder in God's creation, what you should include. Those are just some, this is just, it's an advice from my side, but really it's open to anything you want. So you can include the list of some animals or sea life or birds which impressed you. Why are you, so then you should say, why are you impressed by those animals, or I don't know, those creatures, whatever they are. And why do you think they were created and why you think they did not evolve. You know, like kind of analyzing from the evolution perspective and from the creation perspective, why do you think they did not evolve?
Okay.
Now, here is where you can find some debates. I was planning to post a documentary for you. I can't find it. I think it was taken out from YouTube. I searched for it for the last week, every day. It was a documentary on intelligent design. I can't find it. Here you have some seminars, and here you have a book on flawed evidence and the reason on there are 40 or 50 evidences that the flood really happened. Yeah. So thank you. I'm sorry it was a hard one in the sense that it's not really interactive. It was required for me to speak a lot. But I hope you guys enjoy it.